All right, so this Saturday, the 16th, at the O2 in London, we get to see the fight between Darren Till and Jorge Masvidal. Now, this fight's very interesting as far as matchmaking goes. You look at these guys' past few fights. I mean, Darren Till, of course, he had the loss to Tyron Woodley by submission. We can all kind of agree that he probably wasn't ready for that caliber of fight. But you go back further than that, he has the win against Wonderboy by decision, where, of course, in that fight, he missed weight by like 3.5 pounds and still won that fight by decision. A lot of people can say it hurt him. A lot of people are going to say that missing weight actually helped him. I tend to think that when you're that drained, it tends to hurt you. But then again, who am I to say? I've never been at the UFC level and fought a fight where I've missed weight by 3.5 pounds and, kind of seeing how it affected my opponent. But kind of going past that, he, of course, had that fight against Cowboy where he TKO'd Cowboy Cerrone in the first round. Now, that fight says more than any of the rest of the fights to me, in all honesty. Cowboy Cerrone, God love him, he's a staple in the UFC, he's a legend. Unfortunately, he's never got that championship title, but he's been in those championship fights and knows how much pressure is on you and how hard you have to train to be in that position. And I think Dana White, Sean Shelby, and the matchmakers kind of use him as a gauge for fighters coming up. They use him as a litmus test to see how good they really are. And when you pick apart Cowboy Cerrone like Darren Till did in the first round, that says a lot. I mean, Darren Till absolutely, like I said, he picked him apart. Cowboy didn't stand a chance against him. The striking was just on completely different levels. And I think if Cowboy could have got him to the ground, who knows, he may have tapped him out. But standing up, Darren Till just absolutely swarmed Cowboy and took over the fight. He won that fight convincingly, and that's what's propelled him to the position he's in, being able to fight Jorge Masvidal, who, by the way, if you look at his record, it's unfortunate, honestly, that the last few fights he's had that loss to Wonderboy by decision. He lost to Damian Maia by decision. He won against Cowboy. Excuse me. He TKO'd Cowboy as well, but he also lost to Benson Henderson by decision. Now, that record is a lot different than the one we just went over with Darren Till, so it's surprising that they made this matchup. But you kind of look at the rest of the division and the temperature of the division right now. You've got Ben Askren coming up, who just beat Robbie Lawler. Who knows if they're going to rematch him? I think if Ben and Robbie Lawler aren't on this O2 card this Saturday, which obviously isn't going to happen, I think there's very little chance that they're going to rematch. Ben Askren really doesn't want it. He wants to move forward, especially now that Tyron Woodley lost the title to Kamaru Usman. I mean, that just leaves this division wide open, and it almost looks like the winner of Till versus Masvidal may fight Ben Askren, which the winner of that fight would go on to fight Usman. I mean, that's just the way I'm looking at it. I know Dana White and Robbie Lawler both said they want the rematch between Lawler and Askren, and I think Robbie Lawler deserves that, honestly. I just think it's more, I hate to say entertaining, but that's what it is. It's more entertaining to see Darren Till fight Ben Askren if he beats Jorge Masvidal, and then go up against, Kamaru Usman, whoever wins the Askren Till fight, if that's the way it turns out. But kind of circling back to the fight this Saturday with Till and Masvidal, I mean, neither of these guys are going to want to wrestle, rather. They're not going to want to take it to the mat. They're going to want to stand up and bang with each other and give the fans what they want. And they always put on a show. I mean, those guys go out there knowing what the fans want. They know how satisfying it is to get a win by knockout. I think the only thing that could kind of stand in Darren Till and Jorge Masvidal's way this weekend would be the weight cut. I mean, we all know Darren Till had that one missed weight cut against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson where he missed by like 3.5 pounds. And then he had that really hard weight cut again, but he didn't end up missing weight. He's only missed weight once. And I think a lot of people seem to forget that, unfortunately. I mean, Darren Till, he is a very, very big welterweight. Let's be real. He's a big 170er. He'll probably be 185 sooner rather than later. But for now, he's fighting at 170, and I think he'll be able to do it. That'll probably be the only thing that'll stand in his way as far as getting the W this weekend. I hate to say it, but I just think Darren Till is on another level than Jorge Masvidal. If we both know, we've both we've seen these guys both rather fight on the ground and take it to the ground and smash their opponents out and get the win like that on the ground, but we've never seen them with a full wrestling plan. We've never seen them go in there thinking about taking their opponent down and getting the win by submission. That's just not on these guys' mind, and fair enough. I mean, Darren Till actually moved to Brazil to practice jiu-jitsu, and we still see him go out there and stand and strike with the best of them. I mean, his technical striking is on a way higher level than a lot of the stars in the UFC that you all know and love. I mean, this guy truly has something special. He's still young, and he can turn that into a very lucrative career in the UFC. He's just going to have to be very smart about the fights he takes, and you know, he's going to have to go out there and win this fight against Jorge Masvidal, and then he's probably going to have to beat Ben Askren, which is a big task for someone like Darren Till, who lost to Tyron Woodley by submission, and Ben Askren actually trains Tyron Woodley for his wrestling. If that's not scary for Darren Till, I don't know what is. Now, this man is a warrior. He's not going to be scared to fight anyone, and I think that ended up being his downfall against Tyron Woodley. If he would have just took a step back and been like, okay, maybe I need a couple more fights under my belt. Maybe I need to get my mental game in check. Maybe I need to make sure my weight's in check before I go up against someone like Tyron Woodley, who, of course, just got beat, like we said, by Kamaru Usman. But I think Till is truly going to have a long career in the UFC. I think if he wins this fight, he's going to keep the train rolling. He's going to be back in front of the fans' eyes as a main focus, as one of the main focuses in the UFC, because like we've talked about, the man is a big draw. I'm high on the guy. There's a lot of very, very respected ex-fighters. I mean, you've got commentators that are truly high on this guy and see the potential he has, and all really hope he develops it and turns it into a great career in the UFC. He can definitely do that, and he can definitely make a lot of money in this business. So as far as predictions for this fight, I think we all kind of know how this one's going to go. I'm going to say Darren Till by, let's say, second round TKO. I think he does kind of pick Jorge Masvidal apart. Although Jorge Masvidal has some great striking, he's more of a street fighter, a brawler kind of person, and he takes advantage of the openings a lot less than someone like Darren Till, who is going to go in there and play chess with you. If you're not playing the same game as Darren Till, you're going to get picked apart, and you're going to get picked apart quickly, as we saw in the Cowboy fight. So round 2 TKO is what we'll go with. Other than that, guys, I truly appreciate you guys tuning into these videos, watching them, commenting, liking, and definitely I appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. That's what helps me grow. That's what helps the channel grow, and that's what helps these videos get out there. So again, guys, it truly means a lot. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button. It takes a half a second to do, and it means a lot to me and the channel. But thanks for watching this video, guys. We'll see you on the next one, and definitely stay tuned for more coverage leading up to UFC London.